My name is Mike, and last year my fiance and I bought what we thought would be our first real home together. A simple 2-story starter house in a quiet Georgia suburb. Nothing fancy, nothing unique, just a place we could afford as an Asian couple. We knew we stuck out a bit in this mostly older neighborhood, but we didn't expect that to matter. The first few days felt normal, even peaceful. We unpacked, hung curtains, explored the yard, and took in the small joys of finally owning something. We had no reason to think any part of this place would eventually break us. The neighbors on our right were an older married couple who introduced themselves the same day we moved in. A man across the street helped me carry a heavy box and welcomed us to the neighborhood, but the house on our left stayed quiet. The curtains were always drawn, and the place felt lived in but strangely dormant. We didn't see a single person come or go the entire first week. Then one afternoon, while my fiancée and I were carrying groceries inside, she quietly nudged me and whispered, "Someone's watching." When I looked, a man stood partially hidden behind his curtain, staring straight at us. He didn't wave or attempt to smile. The moment he realized we saw him, he stepped deeper into the darkness of the room. That should have been our red flag, but we brushed it off. Some people just weren't friendly, and that was fine. But over the next few days, the sightings increased. Every time one of us looked out a window, he seemed to be there, never fully visible, always half covered by a curtain or shadow, silently observing us. It was weird, but we tried ignoring it. We told ourselves it was coincidence. But deep down, we both felt something wasn't right. One night, around midnight, I walked past our upstairs bedroom window. His house was directly across from us. I glanced out of habit, expecting darkness. Instead, he stood in his upstairs window, fully visible this time. His face was blank, expressionless, staring straight into our bedroom. I froze when he saw me staring back. He stepped away slowly like he hadn't meant to be caught. I remember nervously joking to my fiancée, "Great, our neighbor's a creep." But the truth was, something about the way he looked at us stuck with me. It wasn't curiosity. It felt more like hostility wrapped in silence. The next morning, he appeared at our door for the first time. His name was Gordon, thin, pale, wearing clothes that looked one size too small. He apologized for accidentally looking into our window the night before. He was smiling the entire time, but his eyes didn't match the smile. They were cold, empty. I told him it wasn't a big deal, even though it was. He nodded too many times, thanked me, and walked away. When I shut the door, I told my fiancé he gave me an odd feeling. We agreed to be polite, but cautious. We had no idea what was coming. A few nights later, my fiancé shook me awake at nearly 2 a.m., whispering that she heard footsteps outside. Half asleep, I walked to the window and saw a figure in our yard. Not a kid, not an animal, a grown man, walking slowly like he was searching for something. Without thinking, I yelled, "Hey!" The figure stiffened, then hurried out through the backyard gate. The slam echoed in the night. I didn't go outside. I didn't feel safe. We stayed awake for a long time afterward, listening to every rustle in the dark, both knowing the figure had looked exactly Gordon's height. A few nights later, it happened again, this time louder, more deliberate. We heard rustling, followed by a soft metallic noise, like someone manipulating a lock. When I pulled back the curtain, I saw him again. This time, I recognized the posture, the shoulders. It was Gordon. I yelled his name and shouted that I was calling the police. He walked out of the yard again, silently, without rushing, without apologizing, just leaving like he had every right to be there. Something snapped inside me. I walked to his house and knocked on his door, ready to confront him. He answered immediately. He greeted me with the same plastic smile and acted surprised when I accused him of being in our yard. Then he laughed, an unsettling forced laugh, as if the situation were funny. He claimed he was chasing neighborhood kids who supposedly jumped fences. He insisted he saw them run through our yard. His story changed mid-sentence. His eyes were cold. The smile didn't move. I didn't push further because something about his mood felt volatile. I walked back home, but I didn't believe a word he said. For the first time, I realized This man wasn't just strange. He was unstable. The next morning, he showed up again, cheerful, energetic, too friendly, and invited us over for dinner the coming Friday. His tone was polite enough that declining felt risky. My fiancée and I reluctantly agreed, deciding it might diffuse the tension. Still, both of us felt dread the moment he walked away. On Friday, we went over at 7 p.m. The moment we stepped into his house, the atmosphere felt wrong. The air smelled like stale alcohol. The curtains were closed. The place was too quiet. Gordon greeted us with an exaggerated grin and a wine glass already half empty. He kept drinking more throughout dinner. His jokes turned into comments. His comments turned into passive-aggressive remarks. Then the passive-aggressive remarks turned into thinly veiled insults. He made strange comments about how things used to be in the neighborhood and how not everyone liked new people with different backgrounds. At first, we stayed polite, hoping it was the alcohol. But the more he drank, the more his real self appeared. Eventually, he admitted, in a drunken slur, that he had been in our yard and that he had watched us because he needed to know what kind of people we were. His voice grew louder and more hostile. He began ranting about how the neighborhood used to be white, how things were changing too fast, and how some people needed to know their place. My fiancée gripped my hand under the table. Fear replaced discomfort. When Gordon leaned closer and said, "People like you aren't welcome here," the last bit of denial disappeared. The moment he paused to pour another drink, we stood up. We didn't argue or respond. We simply left. Silent, tense, alert. The short walk back to our house felt like walking through a dark alley, expecting an attack. When we locked the door behind us, we finally released the breath we'd been holding. We didn't even speak for a minute, just processing everything. Then we went to the neighbors. One by one, they told us stories, some vague, some disturbing. Gordon had a drinking problem. His wife had left him. He had outbursts, episodes, sudden anger, and according to one neighbor, a restraining order years ago for harassment. Everyone knew he was off, but no one warned us. My fiancée broke down crying. We were living beside a violent racist with unpredictable behavior. We slept terribly that night. A few nights later, around 3 a.m., we woke to the sound of breaking glass. A brick had been thrown through our downstairs window. Glass scattered across the living room floor like ice shards. When I rushed downstairs, the brick sat in the middle of the room like a threat. No note, no message, but we didn't need one. We called the police immediately. Officers arrived, questioned Gordon and searched his property, but he denied everything with a straight face. Without proof, there was nothing they could do. We realized the situation was escalating, and no one could protect us. We discussed installing security cameras and staying to fight it out, but fear had already infected every part of our routine. Every night felt dangerous. Every noise made us jump. We were constantly checking windows, listening for footsteps, scanning the shadows in our yard. Living there became unbearable. The home we were excited about now felt contaminated. Within 2 months of moving in, we started packing again. We filed another police report outlining everything. But the officers told us they couldn't do more unless he physically harmed us. We left the neighborhood before something worse happened. We moved to a new place across town, one with safer neighbors and better lighting. Although relieved, we both carried an uneasy feeling. But at least we felt free again. At least we thought so. One night, months after moving, I had a dream. In the dream, I woke to someone standing beside our bed. As my eyes adjusted, I saw Gordon's silhouette. His voice, cold venomous, said, "I told you you'd regret this." Then he lunged with a knife. I woke up drenched in sweat, heart pounding. It was only a dream, but the terror lingered for days. I never told my fiancée about the dream. I didn't want to scare her more. Instead, I tried bearing the feeling, but the anxiety stuck with me. We tried settling into our new life, but little things triggered memories of him. A stranger staring too long, a sound outside at night, a shadow in the yard. We were always alert, always double-checking locks, always glancing at windows after dark. Sometimes when washing dishes or sitting on the couch, I'd catch myself wondering if Gordon ever thought about us again, if he hated that we got away, if he felt wronged. Weeks passed, months passed. Slowly, life normalized, but the fear he created never fully disappeared. Trauma lingers in ways logic can't erase. One afternoon, when I went to get the mail, a black sedan drove slowly past our house. The windows were tinted. The car matched Gordon's old vehicle. For a second, my heart stopped. The car kept driving, but the sight alone dragged me back into old panic. I convinced myself it wasn't him. It couldn't be. But fear doesn't ask for permission. Fear plants seeds and lets your imagination water them until they grow into monsters. One evening, after dinner, my fiancée found a small slip of paper under our welcome mat. It wasn't threatening, just blank. But neither of us had ever seen someone near our porch that day. No deliveries. No packages. Nothing. Normally, it wouldn't have meant anything. But after everything we experienced with Gordon, even innocent things felt suspicious. She asked if we should call the police, but I said no. I didn't want to live in constant fear of shadows. Still, that night, I placed a chair under the doorknob, just in case. Not because I believed danger was coming, but because I couldn't fully believe it wasn't. Another month passed, and one morning I woke to my fiancée crying silently beside me. She said she had dreamed of Gordon too. She didn't describe it, but the way she trembled told me it was bad. That's when I realized something. Leaving the neighborhood didn't erase the trauma. It followed us. It lived in us. And Gordon, whether physically gone or not, still controlled a part of our minds. His behavior, his threats, his hatred. Those things burrowed deep and stayed. Even though we were safe, we never felt fully safe. Not really. Not the way we once hoped to. We eventually sought therapy, both of us, which helped more than we expected. We learned that trauma from harassment, especially racially driven harassment, isn't something you simply move past. It reshapes you. It rewrites how you interpret the world. It makes you see danger where it might not exist. Because danger once existed where it absolutely shouldn't have. Therapy helped us rebuild the sense of security that Gordon shattered. It didn't erase what happened, but it allowed us to stop living inside the memory of it. We started mastering our thoughts rather than letting fear dictate everything. Still, there were moments, small ones, that brought everything back. A neighbor knocking too loudly, a shadow outside the kitchen window, a rustle in the yard, even simple sounds like gravel crunching or footsteps on our porch sometimes trigger flashes of panic. We became the kind of people who checked the peephole 3 times before opening the door, people who double-locked everything, who kept lights on at night, who avoided going outside after dark. Living next to someone unpredictable, hateful, and unstable fundamentally changed us. It made us understand how fragile safety really is. We later heard through a friend who still lived in the old neighborhood that Gordon had been arrested again for an unrelated charge, public intoxication and disorderly conduct. He had apparently spiraled even more after we moved. Hearing that gave us a strange sense of closure, not satisfaction, because nothing about the situation ever felt victorious. But relief. Relief knowing he wasn't still out there watching us, blaming us, waiting for a chance to hurt us. It helped us breathe a little easier, knowing the man who tormented us had continued down a path that isolated him from everyone else. Now, a year later, our new home actually feels like a home. We've built routines, regained peace, and rebuilt trust in our surroundings. Sometimes we sit on the porch at sunset, enjoying the quiet, something we never allowed ourselves to do before. But even in these peaceful moments, there's always a small part of us that remains alert. Trauma doesn't vanish. It settles. It becomes part of your story. And in a strange way, it's made us stronger, more aware, more resilient. But it also taught us something we never wanted to learn. Danger can live 15 feet away behind a shared property line. I still think about that house sometimes. The one we were so excited to buy. The one Gordon ruined for us. I think about the nights we stayed awake listening for footsteps, the moments we felt watched, the brick through the window, his drunken rants, the hostile stares through the curtains. I wonder whether he targeted us out of loneliness, hatred, delusion, or all three. But mostly, I wonder if we would have survived had we stayed. Looking back, every sign pointed toward eventual violence. Every instinct told us to run. And thankfully, we listened before it was too late. If there's one thing this experience taught me, it's that real horror doesn't require ghosts or monsters. Sometimes it's just a troubled man with too much hate and too little stability, living close enough to destroy your sense of safety. We lost our first home, our peace, and months of sleep, but we didn't lose each other, and we didn't lose our lives. That's the part one hold on to. Because even now, when a nightmare pulls me back into that house, or when a noise outside makes my heart race, I remind myself, we escaped, we survived, and that's enough.